right, guys. Quick shout out here. My MetaFi is home of all the guest primers, all the free tournaments, all the giveaways, and all my personal guides. These guys in front of you are freshly updated over there. You see Issa Tempo, Beanstalk Control, Jeskai Wizards, Eldrazi Aggro, Blue-Eyed Riddler, Dimir Tempo, Affinity, Omniscience. All these and more you find over on my MetaFi. Use code ECO50 for a juicy 50% off your first month as a Book Smart Baron. I can't wait to see you over there. Hey, what's up, guys? Today it's time for more Legacy. I'm in a Legacy challenge, waiting for it to start. I'm playing Dimir Tempo with Nethergoyfs to try and close out games a little bit faster. This deck is super well-rounded, just a little bit more proactivity going on rather than grind. A couple of Murktides as top end, Kaito to pull ahead card advantage-wise, full set of Bowmasters, especially with Goblin Welder on the rise. And sideboard is super standard from what I like to register. I like a couple of Consigned, couple of Hydros, couple of Negations. I like 2 Brazen Borrower in my 75, 2 Sweepers, 2 Barrow for fair matchups, 2 Edicts for any creature deck, and Merit Lage. Then a couple of Surgical to not get run over by oops. So yeah, let's get into the match. All right, we're on the draw here with a double bauble. Yeah, okay. I mean, let's Google our opponent here, because there exists a world where this hand is a keep. This player has not been playing Legacy for ages, and I can't really remember what the player used to play. Okay, Hammer Time, way back. So if I'm keeping this hand, I'm keeping it because I get a draw step. I can hopefully wasteland my opponent, and then I can double bauble into my mana source to play the game. This is a tough one, but I'm going to attempt to keep this hand. If my opponent goes basic land, well, that sucks. If I don't find the black source, or, you know, land, I guess I should call it, within draw step, bauble, bauble, draw step, 4 draws, I mean, well, it is what it is. Worth noting that on the play, this is a mulligan. On the draw, I consider this a slight keep. So I'm not exactly excited about it, but I think it's good enough to play the game, especially if I fire the Wasteland turn 1. Then again, my opponent can just go... what am I clicking here? Oh, okay. That's a new feature, I guess. Okay. So if my opponent has... If I play like Thoughtseize or whatever, I can do that. Okay, well, that works. So lots of bad stuff can happen here. I wouldn't fault anybody for mulliganing this hand, because it's anything from Tamiyo Pass, I'm in trouble, basic land, some kind of play, I'm in trouble. But let's just see how it goes. The 2 baubles are dragging me into the mud here. Okay. So, yeah, there it is. So, unfortunately, we don't have any other plays than continue down the path. Ooh. Lotus Petal pass. And I already draw the land. Now, does that change my play? I could see that actually changing my play. I could also bauble myself to see if I have a great card on top, and if I do, I wasteland my opponent. Okay, let's see. My opponent's on some kind of Affinity deck, I would guess. So maybe Ursa Saga is good later. Second land, that's not bad. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's time to go Nethergoyf here. There's a few ways to beat Tamiyo, and racing is certainly one of them. So let's do this. Oh my god, the opponent's playing... Wait a minute, what is this deck? Because I just saw Wasteland. I might get cooked by my opponent's Wasteland, which is super scary. Let's see. If I get Wastelanded, I'm also going to wasteland my opponent, who are sitting in the dirt here. I mean, yeah, can't really do much about that. What is this? Because a ninja deck is not running Petal. Yeah, okay. 3 cards left. Emery. We can't let Emery happen. That is simply too strong. Now, do I think Murktide Regent will show up in time, or that the Boomerang mode is better on Brace? And I guess that's what this is about. Let's try and hang on to the Murktide here. So, no land. I will now have to Wasteland and simply just attack and hope my opponent is left with uncastable Kappa Cannoneers. Also worth noting, I will need a fetch land. No, I'm sorry, this is not Emery. I don't need a fetch land to get Revolt. I was too fast there. The opponent gets in the attack. Also worth noting, this is building towards Kappa Cannoneer, so I don't have infinite time here. Yep, there's the Saga, which was the concern all along. The opponent has one card left. And I break here. Okay, so it looks like we're losing game 1 to Affinity here. Yeah, that Wasteland was I don't know what to say. I would never in a million years have expected my opponent to play Wasteland. Here's another one. And Ursa Saga is active. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, if the opponent shows Kappa Cannoneer here, that's just a little bit of a bonus before I concede. Okay. All right. No chance there. The marginal hand certainly didn't get there against the Wasteland Affinity. That's brutal. Brutal stuff, indeed. I like these cards. I might like Toxic, but I'm a little bit scared that my opponent's build is less aggro. I guess we now confirmed that it is not a Chalice deck. I think I can cut a single Thoughtseize. I also don't mind cutting a single Nethergoyf. It's fine to kind of sprinkle in, but I don't consider it great or anything. Raisin I can cut. Bowmasters is slightly better against that version than other versions of Affinity I've seen. Push is better against that deck. Toxic Deluge, I'm just going to expect my opponent to play Pinnacle Emissary. And this looks like something I can submit without being embarrassed. Wow, Wasteland and Affinity. The reason why I think that's very, very bad deck building is you frequently need your land drop to either be Ursa Saga or developing blue sources or artifacts for that matter. And you're a deck that mulligans. So imagine you mulligan and the Wasteland then becomes a little bit of a luxury card. I love Wasteland a lot in consistent decks that keep 7 a lot of the time. Also, the opponent will make your deck shrink a lot to prevent the synergies. And things can just compound a little bit. So, but enough about that. My opponent crushed me with the card I don't consider viable in the deck. So the proof is in the pudding at that point, right? So I like having the Toxic. I can let a lot of things happen here. Maybe my turn 1 is simply going to be land pass. Then if my opponent plays Tameo or Emery, I can edict it away. Yes, so no Emissary hand. The opponent now has Metalcraft and 3 mana turn 1. I can't say I love that. Here's Emery. That card is all right because I have the Edict. The opponent with a very good mill there. They bring in Tormod's Crypt. That's interesting. Pirate Spellbomb. Absolutely accept it. Yeah, let's not draw, a land or what have you. Here's a Tameo, which would then be my force fodder to then free up the Ponder. Is that what I want? Is that what I want? I can see that card being better than a random. Now I will cast Sheldred's Edict. And hopefully we reach some kind of status quo here. The opponent lets it go. I still have Force of Will for a potential power play that doesn't die to Toxic Deluge. Here's Pinnacle Emissary, and I have Toxic Deluge, so I think I'm fine about that. Mox Amber, that is good with Tameo and Emery. Let's see what the opponent can do here. Draw a card. That Wasteland is too funny. And here is my opponent forcing me to force the Emery because of the Wasteland. That is really brutal. Well, what card is better? I'm getting wasted, then I'm playing out a Tameo. Okay, I'll try and hang on to the Ponder, but yeah, not easy, not easy. Here's the Wasteland severely cooking me. The opponent is left with one creature, and maybe they can play it out next turn. Maybe. In which case I kill it. Let's see what this is. Oh, I love this. I'm going to be playing a 3/4 Nethergoyf. That's cool. So wait a minute. Either I'm going to Toxic or I'm going to Ponder that next turn. Yep, okay. Draw. It's pretty important that it's a 3/4 because it's left over from the Toxic. Let's see if I can get some mileage. If the opponent has a land drone guy, maybe I'm just chilling. Maybe I should. Oh my god. Okay, so now the opponent's going to play the 3/3, and I think I'm priced into firing the Toxic before it's too late, mana-wise. So I can attack first, because my opponent's not going to block, and then I can Toxic. Then, with that play, I'm turning off my opponent's... Nope, I'm not. Never mind. I'm not turning off Metalcraft. Toxic Deluge for 3. Pass. I'm trying to make it not interesting for the opponent to Wasteland, but I think it is against known Baragoyf deck. I have a Snuff out on top of my deck, which is a guaranteed good draw, and then I can Ponder into, you know, more gas, hopefully. Arctide Regent being insane. Oh, okay. So the opponent... Wait a minute. Why didn't they play it normally? Sure. Now the opponent's considering Wasteland. And now it's... I can Wasteland my opponent out of enough mana, but I don't know. Okay. Thoughtseize is a dead card. These other cards are good. But I think I'm supposed to... grab a fresh one, because there's a chance I get stuck. Let's see. Draw a Bauble, fire a Bauble, draw Thoughtseize. Next turn, draw. So I'm basically just clearing these, and then I'm looking at random cards after that. I think I might as well look at random cards now. Let's see. Okay, another Ponder was the draw. See if I can find some good ones. Murktide Regent is probably the best one. A little bit more of the same where there's some bad cards, so I should shuffle. Murktide Regent, that's awesome. Worth noting is the drones can actually block Murktide. The opponent has Emissary in whatever it's called. Warp. Yep, land. That's all goody. Then they play Emissary, attack for 1. Let's see how I can balance the size here on Nethergoyf. Consigned Memory is not bad. think I need to snuff out the emissary before I pass, because otherwise any artifact turns into chump blockers, and that would be a little bit annoying. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can leave. If I leave a sorcery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the snuff out gets my Nethergoyf back to normal size here. Go to 9. Worth noting is my opponent can slam Kappa Cannoneer if they draw it. But they didn't. And this is probably where I earned the check mark. This card makes sure I have lethal. And I feel like if my opponent had Sing into Stupor, they would have already fired it. So let's have our opponent sacrifice a token. Okay, we get there. The Wastelands are super scary because usually your mana base is safe against that deck. I really hope my opponent gets a little bit punished for it, like lacking colored sources or, you know, things of that nature. Because right now it's been pure upside for the opponent. It's never hurt them, and I've been a little bit scared about them, to say the least. Maybe Orcish Bowmasters is just a bad card against the deck. I guess Nethergoyf is at least better than one of them. I feel like 3 copies of Thoughtseize is a good number. Oh, there's the Tamiyo situation where Bowmasters is a little bit of, I guess, passive punishment for Tamiyo, so that's not bad. But I really want to trim my curve on the draw here, especially against Mr. Wasteland over there. Maybe this is just fine. Okay. Game 3 against Affinity. Wasteland Affinity, that is. Ooh. I fear no man, but that thing, that scares me. Yeah. This hand has kind of get run over by good draws written all over it, which is annoying. Can't kill Tamiyo right away. Can't kill Emery. Can't kill Saga. I can basically only hope my opponent has a little bit of a slower start. But yeah, this is... Dang, this is dangerous against a Keep 7 out of Affinity. There's Tamiyo. So the opponent can still have, I was about to say, some crazy Mox Amber opening here. Force of Will just in time here. So with the way this is going, my opponent's going to get in 1 hit of Tamiyo before I edict it. I mean, that's not terrible. Another Bauble is terrible, though. So let's go and fetch a dual. I still have a single Snuff Out in my deck that I am drawing towards. No luck. So it's annoying, but I actually like these cards. Because of the land, because of the Wasteland. So that is exactly a way for my opponent to beat me is, oh, nice Dismember to know about, to get Tamiyo going and either keep me down with Wasteland or to develop Ursa Saga so that I have to take another turn off. So I'm secretly hoping for a play that is either not that great or is worth forcing. So at least I'm trading 0 mana. Yeah, this is probably decent for me. The opponent's looking for a Saga, though, or a Wasteland. Yep, they got there. This is brutal. Yep. So why are these, okay, because of the Dismember. I was about to say, why is my opponent playing out that card? Okay. Very nice draw. So let's just Fatal Push Tamiyo right away. And then with all of this said, the opponent got out of the deal was 1 clue, which is, you know, it's not disastrous. We still have game here. My opponent has Dismember in hand, but we have now a 5/6 Baragorf at our disposal. So this is a lot about not dying. Yeah, this is good for me because I have Force of Will for a powerful stack play, and I have Wasteland for the Saga.
And now I even have another Goif. That's probably the perfect draw for me here. I mean, I guess... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess I'm getting dismembered, so maybe it's not the perfect draw. I was excited there for a moment. Here comes the dismember end of turn that in theory, I could be forcing. So what happens if I do that? I force a will to dismember. And then I keep a clock in play. Then what am I losing to later? If I keep this in play, well, then what if my opponent plays Emery? I'll have to force a will it. What if my opponent plays Tamio? I'll probably let that... I'm sorry, then I'll have to edict it. I'll edict a lot of things from here. The opponent probably does not have Emissary and might not... If they draw it, I bet it's just a 3/3. Then I can kill that with the edict. This is a tough one because if I don't kill it and I wasteland my opponent, I don't know when I can put into play a threat again. So yeah, I'm gonna try and force the dismember. Then I'm wasting the Ursa Saga. And then at the very least, I'm bashing for 4 while my opponent's in this spot. Let's see. They're 1-off Kappa Cannoneer. If they have random creature into Kappa Cannoneer, I'm in trouble. If they pass here, they have Kappa in hand. Okay, I feel like they have Kappa in hand and I can get them with Edict. Let's see if I'm right about that. Let's not give away that we have a non-wasteland land drop. Opponent takes the damage. For every card I draw that isn't a land, I'm going to be very happy that I fought over the Dismember. So if my read is correct, my opponent's going to slam Kappa Cannoneer, and I am going to edict it away. The absolute punish from the top of the deck is Wasteland. The absolute punish. The thing is, my opponent's going to be thinking about days right now. Okay, I still think they have Kappa Cannoneer. And then they just get a free 1/1 flyer in the process. Let's see if I'm right about that. Kappa Cannoneer it is. That card enters, that card triggers, and then we have to get all the way to the end step to get the Pinnacle Emissary out of there. Click one more. Now fetch Underground Sea. Edict a non-token. The land here, and I love my spot. No land, and we play the game. Yeah, this is brutal. This is brutality. Because now the opponent has onboard life gain. They have tons of cards that, you know, stabilize. Wasteland playing me as a fiddle 3 games in a row. The opponent certainly didn't miss having Ancient 2 in their deck. That's for sure. Also worth noting is the Spell Bomb. Okay, so it looks like the opponent is interested in slowing things down here. I was about to say the Spell Bomb works as protection, but it doesn't because the opponent's Amber is off. Land? Yeah. Sometimes that's magic, right? I mean, 3/3 drops in a row. The worst draws I've ever seen. That's magic. Oh. Yeah, I have 6 there. Okay, well, I guess that kind of seals my fate. Okay. I didn't realize my opponent was interested in preventing 4 damage there, but well read by my opponent that I might have been F6. That's Magic the Gathering Online, right? They should pounce on that suspicion. That changes a lot of things here, because having this card in play or not having it in play is a huge tempo boost. So this is my opponent playing around days. Yes. And now let's see if they drew an artifact in the process. They did not. So again, I mean, land puts me in a power position. And that card, less so. All right. Nothing super bad happened here. I redeveloped that in a spot where I would have stayed home. So, does my opponent have another Kappa? No, they drew another Dismember. Okay. Well, then I take 5. We're getting to the point where I certainly need my third land. I'm attacked to 8. Land? We get the land. That's pretty sweet. Let us develop a 6/7. And now it's up to my opponent to draw something, or I think I'm going to stabilize in the other direction. Let's see what they drew here. They have very many annoying draws, but also very many not annoying draws. Okay. How many? The opponent has 5 mana in play. In theory, that's Force of Will. Ooh, okay. That card is great. So I think I might need to... Okay, I can even do both. That's sick. Because I want to maybe Toxic this turn and then consign the second chapter. Yeah. Let's attack with Big Barrow. Chum blocking. All right. I'll gain 6. Now, I think Toxic for 2 makes sense without being... Oh, I can also Nethergoyf. That's probably better. Let me do that. This is taken 3, so I cannot get too frisky. So let's see. Nethergoyf, exiling, artifact, land, instant. And I guess I have to take the only sorcery now. Okay. Nethergoyf it is. Let us fetch here. Stifle the saga thing. Let's just grab the duel. Yeah, I was pretty sure I was dead this game. The opponents had a lot of good exchanges. Counter that. The opponent can search next turn, but they cannot make any tokens. And I will start connecting with Baragoyf unless my opponent is... Let's call it fortunate. Let's not call it lucky. Okay, random island off the top. So the opponent has taken out Ancient Tombs for Wastelands and then also added Ambers, and I guess they're lower on baubles in this build. I guess that's the one. So now if I want to, I can Kaito. I can Kaito back the Nethergoyf, get in for 8, draw some cards. Yeah, the life gain here is pretty darn good. Let's get in for 8. And then think about what to do with the Kaito, replay the Nethergoyf. I think we're reaching... There's some Kappa Cannoneer shenanigans that could happen, but I think that's exactly why I need the life buffer. So let's say Nethergoyf was a 4/5. I would have needed to do it in the damage step. All right. Maybe I should have fetched here. Yeah, I should have fetched first. I made a mistake here. Imagine I hit like Murktide and my last Underground Sea. I did not. So let's just grab the Merc. And now I have to remember to do it before. I also, yeah, I don't have the sea. Yeah, I'm clowning over here. Should have counted my graveyard. Didn't do that. Yeah, lots of sloppy stuff here. Even already spent my land drop, which is hilarious. Let's not get the Wasteland. Let's take the Force of Will. Now let's play Nether Goyf and pass. Yeah, I'm clowning over here. Let's see what this is. What did I miss? I didn't miss anything. Now my opponent is going to float a mana and tutor. There's a lot of cards here I don't care about. Let's see, like Needlon Kaito could be a play. This was a roller coaster. Tormod Crypt. Sure. Oh, now I have an 0-1 Nether Goyf. And you have a Wasteland. All right, opponent has had enough here. This game, I don't know. This seemed, when I was sitting there staring at 4 3-drops, I guess that's just where the opponent ran out of gas. But yeah, that was a weird one. Affinity with Wasteland. I mean, in theory, when you're running, let's say 4 Opal, 3 Ambers, I like it. But I think in practice, just 4 Tamios and 4 Emeries probably not enough for Mox Amber to be good. And then I guess the point is, but with Kappa Cannoneer, with Emissary, maybe you don't need it to be good. Maybe you just need it to be like a naked random 0 artifact as well. But yeah, who knows? It feels not like I didn't win this match, but we got over the finish line, and we're off to a good start, at least results-wise. All right, as you can see, we're 1-0 after round 1, and this is a small challenge. It's only going to be 5 rounds. I actually don't mind that at all. There's some daylight savings time for the US at the moment, which means it's now a little bit earlier. So this tournament was 1 hour before. So imagine you get to your computer a healthy 30 minutes before you think it starts. I can't. Yeah, I've seen this before. I'll say that. I've certainly mistaken starting times, etc. So I think that's just natural. But to our benefit, that means this is going to be a 5-round tournament instead of a 6-round tournament. So I can actually catch my vintage showcase later without having to make a tough decision down the road. With that being said, if I get to 2 losses, the video's over. So now you know that. Can't really complain about the start in the win-losses column. It felt like we were not really winning that game, but I guess my opponent just stopped drawing, bangers at some point, and that was kind of what we were conditioned to throughout the match. So that was cool. That was very nice of the opponent. Yeah, let's see what we pair into in round 2. We have some killers in the event. On the draw here against Dominique Tudor. Last time I played against this player, they played a companion. I can't remember the name of the card. Well, you can only play creatures in your deck, or only cards of the same type. And we had a cool match. I believe that was even on camera in one of the challenge runs. Ooh, yeah, my favorite kind of hand. A hand that would be totally serviceable, if not fine to good on the play, but on the draw it's iffy. I don't think I'm allowed to mulligan this, but I'm allowed to highlight that these dazes are probably quite bad. So my opponent could be playing an Eldrazi deck. I feel like I should get into the game here. I should do something that is not wastelanding my opponent. I will try and cast this Ponder, hopefully find some, creatures and removal and what have you. Funnily enough, I think these are quite bad. Now, if my opponent is Eldrazi, these are bad. I should say that. If my opponent is normal creatures, maybe this is fine. So what would that be? My opponent plays an Ajani, let's just say that. Then I can go Tameo Brainstorm and try and protect from there. This is tough. What if my opponent is just Eldrazi and go Petal Cavern something? Then I'm in deep trouble. Maybe because I have, you know, Push, Snuff, Murktide. I have a lot of cards in my deck that's just better. Force of Will, maybe. I'm going to take a tough call here and shuffle a 3-spell Ponder. I've had a lot of those recently. Also in the video with Eureka, I felt like I had a lot of those. Let's see what this actually is. These days can be anything from fine to good to absolutely atrocious because of Cavern of Souls. Okay, here's the Adjani, I guess. Thalia. So the Bowmasters would have been insane. Wow. Bowmasters would have been absolutely insanity. Let's daze that clown. Again, days on the play versus days on the draw. Night and day. And then I draw the Bowmasters. That is pretty funny. I think now it's time to develop the Tameo. And now I'm rooting for another Thalia. Can we get another Thalia cast? That would be pretty nice for me. We cannot. Blue. Black. Bowmaster, maybe? No? A black human. Well, this card draws cards. I feel like I should daze again. Let's see if the opponent would have reason to slow roll a land. Oh. Getting forced here. Yes. That works. And the opponent has to pass. Okay. I think this is where let's see. Like, cast a historic spell. So that would be, you know, the Thalias of the world, like legendary stuff. I think it's time for me to wasteland this land and hope to buy some time walks. If my opponent draws the land straight away, I look like a fool. But if my opponent does not, I actually like my spot. Because then I can play my Tameo, bridge into the Bowmaster. I guess this will become unblockable, right? Can't be blocked, yeah. So, okay, well, the opponent drew the land, and the deck is on, and I look like a fool because I delayed myself here, and my opponent just ended up in the same place. Thalia. Thalia, attack for 2. The opponent drew a card. Yeah, I'm in trouble because I can't brainstorm here. Am I looking to save life points here? I actually think I am. Am I interested in another land? Maybe the land is fine. Let's try and stay back with the intention to block Thalia. And then hopefully the Bowmaster will make it complicated for the opponent to play the game. Because every time they draw this card, at least I'm pressuring them. But yeah, this sucks. This is a classic play draw game of Legacy, where if I play first, I have stuff going on. I have a flip Tameo while I'm dazing stuff. But now on the back foot instead. My Scornful Striker. Yeah. Lovely set of legends my opponent has over there. So I guess the opponent can play Mox Amber in this deck, maybe? I don't know. I will keep staying back here. And then I guess I'll see if I can blow out my opponent, but maybe that's not possible. Maybe I should have just slammed the Bowmaster. Let's see about that. I can... Maybe I should kill the if my opponent plays a legend. Hang it for 1. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Pretty cool deck for my opponent here. I should be able to have a solid matchup against it. 1-for-1 removal seems awesome. Thoughtseize seems awesome. Let's see what this is. Probably an unbeatable card. Inti. Okay, that's not an unbeatable card. Let's play Bowmasters. Let's see if they also found the Force Blue card. Let us target that card. I will need to find a Fatal Push pretty soon. Uh-huh. That card enters. Now the opponent can even use Inti to get in for more damage with the Thalia, which sucks. This could be a chum block with Tameo to save 3 life deal. Ooh, the opponent keeps going here. That's cool. My opponent's certainly been in the lab with a bunch of things, and if I play mono blue and I'm on the draw, I don't have a chance against that. Let's see what this is. It's a 1/2. Okay, sure. So this can be blocked. I think it's blocking time on the Thalia. Maybe I need to wait a minute. Maybe I need to double block it actually. Okay, I think I should double block here. Wait a minute. Nothing was discarded to Inti. Wait. Does that change anything? I don't think it does. I should double block here to get Thalia off the table. Let's see what this is. Target creature, you get indestructible. Okay. I didn't think about that. So put its counters. So maybe like this? I'm not sure. Yeah, this is tough because I have to kind of dig for removal. So that card is a combat trick. Thalia lives. Wait a minute. What happened? Target creature you control gains indestructible. Puts counters on that creature. So nothing happened or what? I have no idea why I still have my Tameo here, I must say. That's weird. Bowmaster, potentially a solid draw. Maybe I should play. There's some trap going on here. Let's see. Maybe I should just play a land and pass the turn. Let's try that. I'm trying to play defense here, and I'm dying to the Bast Bazim soon. The thing about the opponent's deck is they could draw redundant Bazims, redundant Thalias, redundant Intis. But if they keep drawing different legends, I'm in trouble. I can also do some... Ooh, this is awesome for me. That means the opponent is done playing... Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. That means the opponent is done playing pre-combat legends. That's pretty good for me. Wait a minute. Why are they just going to let me block? I will block with that card. Then I will cast Orcish Bowmasters to kill Thalia. And then I will Brainstorm to try and flip the Tameo. Maybe the opponent has Force Blue card with the way they're playing. What kind of legends would you run that you would not play out first main to try and beat me, right? Because the opponent will get unblockable. But I guess they didn't want to draw. Maybe that was it. But now the question is, do you have any flashy threats? Yeah, this is probably a little bit of a messy game when it comes to narrating. Let's see what this is. This is Dismember. No, this is Force of Will on the Bowmaster. All right.
So that is forced. I now cannot brainstorm. And we are back to this point. So that is great for the opponent, obviously. They're not in the market for casting stuff because that kills the Thalia. So maybe I'm just on the exact same plan. Play Tamiyo. This time play Fetch Land. And then try and block flip the Tamiyo. Now, if the opponent uses Inti this time, they will just trample with the Basim. So my Fatal Push is due. Let me put it that way. So now if my opponent slams a legend, I get to kill the Thalia. If they don't slam a legend, I get to block. That's kind of the philosophy. The way I guess the opponent's discarding now. That makes a lot of sense. Inti. Discarding Cecil. That's a fun one. Now, let's see what they exile here. Esper Sentinel. I'm not exactly scared of that card. I mean, Trample Guy. Does it make any sense to block it? I feel like it's removal or bust. So maybe just take the damage. Yeah, let's take the damage here. 6/6 Trampler. If I block here, I prevent 2 damage. But then I'm just going to need this card later, I feel like. Okay, let's go to 5. No Fatal Push. I guess Brace and Borrower is another good one. Here's the Esper Sentinel, so I should brainstorm in response, I feel like. Oh, I forgot. That's something that triggers here. Okay. So let's do this. Can I let this resolve, or should I brainstorm? Because the opponent has one more play, otherwise they would have cast Uncounterable Human. That is probably just a second Thalia, though. Okay, let's cast 1 mana Brainstorm, because I play 2 mana cards in my deck, right? So now Tamiyo will flip on a little bit of an awkward time. Could have done that on my turn. I don't know if that would have been smart. Then it's just going to be like a punching bag. Okay, these are a little bit bad. I'm not sure about life loss. I should probably worry about my life total a little bit here. Maybe get rid of these. I think that's fine. And that is flipped. Then I'm going to crack a clue end of turn. This resolves. And then nothing. So why not Uncounterable? Why not Uncounterable? Okay, let's just fetch the swamp. Let's crack this card. I really need a Fatal Push. Force of Will. Not exactly the card I need. Yeah, this is atrocious. Because now this card is just too big, right? Let's cast Brainstorm and pay. Let's try and understand what I can hit. Because the opponent will trample me over here. If I do that and pay, I need to hit the Fatal Push. Then I'll kill it. But I'm trying to think if I might as well do that on my opponent's turn. I think that the exception to that rule is drawing a Ponder. Yeah. So if I go like Brainstorm, Ponder, Fatal Push, then that's too late if I draw the instant on my opponent's turn. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. Let's Brainstorm. Here is exactly the Ponder. Let's get rid of Force of Will, Brainstorm. Then let's cast Ponder. See if I can see the push here. I can't. I'm seeing a Bowmaster, but that card is gonna, you know, I'm gonna get killed by the unblockable. So let's shuffle. Now here's the last stab at it. No luck. And here's the fatal push. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I have to cast that card right now, because otherwise I'm getting taxed by the Sentinel. Now the question is, am I interested in getting taxed by the Sentinel? Am I interested in getting taxed by the Sentinel to kill it off? Interesting stuff. Am I interested in killing off the Sentinel? I don't think I am. I feel like growing this to a 4/4 is about the same. Let's do this. I kept Nethergoyf over... Oh, wow. The opponent has something cool here. Oh, the Aang. Yep. Didn't think about that card, unfortunately. Did not think about that card, unfortunately. So if I do it on my opponent's turn, I'm stealing mana, but then their guy triggers. So I guess I had to play like this, but I didn't think about this card. So now there's a 2-drop, I believe. And I have to pass. And if my opponent has a legendary spell, the game is... No, never mind. They can just trample over here. Okay, so I'm dead. Yeah, that was not good enough. I found my first removal spell on turn 8 of the game. That's just not going to do it against a mono creature deck. Pretty cool list. I'm pretty excited that Bowmaster is live against Thalia and Sentinel, and I have to think about this card, because that's like an annoying Time War card. Alright, let's see it. Let's see the activation of Inti to give Basim trample, and we're done with this game. Let's see. Alright. That was a sweet one. Wait a minute. If I block over there, I take 3. Okay, I'm exactly dead, because they didn't have evasion here. Okay. I was close to missing another turn to live. That would have been a little bit embarrassing. What red cards did I see? Just Inti, I think. Yeah, so I just like Days and Forces. They're just quite bad. So maybe it's just a simple sideboard plan like this. I'm not exactly excited about Brazen, but at least they can reset some big guys like that game. Thoughtseize X4 is a lot against an aggressive deck, but it's also a deck you can kind of pick apart a little bit. I only saw Inti of red spells for Hydro. Let's say I saw one more. I would have a Hydro instead of one Thoughtseize. But for now, this is going to be my deck. This player's always messing around with cool stuff. That's awesome to see. Yeah, I'm certainly not messing around with cool stuff here. This could easily be a fast one. Let's try and see. I think my game plan in this game is going to be... I think I need the Toxic Deluge to be, you know, my combat card. And if that's the case, then Fatal Push loses a little bit of value. So maybe the move is to get rid of one push and use Thoughtseize, like Brainstorm to find lands, Nethergoyf to establish board, and then Thoughtseize to maybe clear like an Aang or something. A card like Esper Sentinel is absolutely demolishing me here. But I think this is how I have to play it. I could also get rid of the Toxic and say, I'm going to be playing with Spud removal. Maybe that was the move, because the opponent took a mulligan. Maybe that was the move. Let's see.
I will not draw my Tammy out. And I need the Brainstorm to connect on some lands. Otherwise, we are swimming with the fishes. The Nightmare is my opponent goes Esper Sentinel, because then I'm getting punished for simply attempting to play the game. I see. I see. Yeah, this is absolutely abysmal. Because now I have to give my opponent a card for simply doing this. Can't do that. All right. This was not the most fun game, but game one was good. Game one was good. I just had a weird mono blue draw, but the game kept on going, and it was close down to the wire. I just got the fatal push a little bit too late. Here's Thalia, which effectively locks up the game because now I can't even dig. I need very many lands in a row. All right. Not much to say here. A great game and a non-game. Let's see if we can do a little bit better in the next one. Guys, last month I launched my YouTube membership program. You can become a YouTube Baron. For $5 per month, you get Metagame Monday After Dark, where I basically dissect all the numbers from Metagame Monday, turn them into actual solutions for us to win tournaments in the week to come. And then I have this juicy series with Eureka Eyes on the Prize, where we replay the 5 challenge finals every week. So basically, we get to see some championship action week after week. So that's 2 additional videos for the cost of $5 per month. I can highly recommend. But wait, there's more. When I get to 100 members, I will give away this awesome artist proof signed Kappa Cannoneer. Beautiful card, a retro frame hollow. If you want to be in that draw, go become a YouTube Baron. I hope to see you over there. All right, time for round 3. Round 2 was not exactly, I don't know. Maybe that's just magic, and it's valuable to show that pros also brick on their brainstorm, and the game is over. Magic is a game of a lot of variance, and that's just the way it is. Nobody can expect to win every time, and we are certainly not the exception to that rule. Winning the die roll here is cool. This hand doesn't that, like, this hand just plays out, right? I play a tap land. I hope my Bowmaster is good. I have force if shit hits the fan. And our mana base is a little bit weak here. More and more games recently, I've noticed, have been decided by mana situations, and of course, Wasteland is impacting that as well. There's a lot of games where, ooh, then maybe if I do that, I can leave my opponent in the dirt. I can kind of hear myself saying that, and yeah, I guess that's been me today with bad mana, and of course the surprise Affinity deck playing Wasteland to begin with. I certainly didn't expect that. So the tricky part is surveilling here, because is this card good? Is this card bad? Like, who knows? I'm going to put it into the graveyard because I want to tap out for my Bowmasters, but then who knows? Maybe this is the best card ever. And, oh, wow. Oops, all spells. Yeah, I mean, we can just let this happen. Let this resolve. Okay, the opponent had turn 1 with a backup here. That's pretty sweet. The opponent is always going to name Force of Will here, and they will never Dark Ritual unless they're also winning the game, so... Oh, so they have even another Spirit Guide here, or what? That's cool. That's pretty good. Oh, yeah. You got it, big dog. Turn 1 with Therapy backup. You love to see it. Let's just, for good measure, take a screenshot of stuff I've seen. Might need to consult that later. Let's see about it. All right. Turn 1 kill with backup. The dream for the opponent and the nightmare for us. I actually like playing against Oops all spells. I think it's frequently a decent
decent puzzle to look into. Let's consult my opponent's deck list here. Quad Pact, some Duresses, some Thought Seizes, lots of Duresses, so they seemingly care a lot about their life total. Got removal spells at these clowns. Bowmaster's bad. How many can I get rid of? This card is fine. Then 2 Bowmasters. I guess that's the only way to slice it. All right. Let's see. This challenge could be over before it started. That's magic. 2 losses. You're out. Let's see if we can make the most of it. We are going to be keeping any hand that has Thoughtseize, Daze, Negation, Surgical, Force of Will. I might be might be forced to take the first mulligan if I only have a cantrip. The Brazens I don't expect to be very good aside from pitching to force and maybe randomly being a Delver. All right. I play first, and we have the exact hand we talked about that we couldn't keep. And now we have a hand that we can keep. Do I get rid of the Tameo, or do I actually like it in case I draw a force later on? I'm okay getting rid of a Tameo here. Let me play turn 1 Tameo, pass. Then I'm going to consult the deck list again. Let's count the Poxwalkers. Okay, we're getting Thoughtseized. Yeah, that's annoying. So now my only move is to fight over my opponent's mana. That card is a good one. Let's attack. Let's ponder. So now it actually could hurt me that I didn't keep my blue card, because now pondering into Force of Will doesn't even do it. Yeah, let's see. So, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. My opponent left me with the Surgical. I was in autopilot mode here. So my opponent is going to try and beat me with, my opponent is going to try and beat me with Charbelcher this game. That's why they took the Brazen, because their plan is to develop a Belcher. Okay. Let's rewire the brain here. I should... Huh. These cards. These cards good. I think these cards are better than random cards because they let me see a bunch of new cards with Ponder next turn. But maybe I should brainstorm to flip the Tameo. Maybe that's slightly better. So that I draw... I guess I just draw the 2 cantrips. Then I wasteland my opponent's land, hope to leave them unable to cast Belcher, rather. Okay, untap land. That's... Okay. So the opponent kind of... Huh. Okay. Well, at the very least, I stacked them correctly here. My opponent's on that plan. If I play a land, I look 1 deeper. But I think I should leave my land drop up for grabs, because Wasteland is part of what I want to draw. Let's see if that logic checks out. Thoughtseize is a good one. So put back land, probably, right? Yeah. Land. Now I'm going to expect to see HR Belcher in my opponent's hand. Ooh, baby. 2 Belchers. So now I can Surgical the Belchers. That is what I need to do here. Take a Charbelcher, pass, and then Surgical the Charbelcher, which, funnily enough, makes me lose to a combo card off the top. Wait a minute. Why did the opponent concede here? They have 4 mana. They just boarded into Belcher Beseech, I guess. Just boarding into Belcher. I think that's what that was. Now I have to ask myself, is random blue card better than Orcish Bowmasters? When is Orcish Bowmasters ever going to matter? It's only going to matter if I get to attack 10 times, I guess maybe 7 or 8 with the way their mana base works. I'm actually going to go for the blue cards here. Simply just blue Pokemon cards in my deck for forces. Not because I'm going to counter any red stuff. I mean, it would be a fun one for the grandchildren to like kill a Clutch Spirit Guide at some point. Okay, and now's the hard part where people usually fall flat to oops. Game 3 on the draw. High demands for the opener. I need a negation or a force or a surgical. Otherwise, I'm mulliganing most hands from here. Now, the thing is, my opponent knows about that and will keep most things that has discard spells. So there's an exception to the rule. Let's make our opponent sweat a tiny bit here and then keep the hand because it has a Force of Will and a blue card and 5 random cards. Yeah, I mean, this hand is a clear keep. It only loses to the straight up nuts or an annoying 1-2 punch over a couple of turns. Consign is amazing against Belcher. Let's see if they found the perfect hand. Here's the Thoughtseize, seeing Force of Will, taking Force of Will, and then the opponent kind of has to figure it out from there. Let's see what the opponent's drawing. The opponent's drawing Cabal Ritual. I think I have to hold up Consign here. I might have to insta Brainstorm depending on what I draw here. Cabal Ritual. I don't think it makes any sense to go for that card. Let's see. Undercity Informer. That is the card that doesn't care about Consign, which is funny. So now, if the opponent has a mana source in hand, I'm losing. But in case I have Force of Will, I should check. Ooh, I messed up. I should have responded to the Cabal, because if I find negation here, I look super silly. Yeah, that was bad. Boom. So now I'd have to daze. Or do I? Wait a minute. If I daze here, and my opponent has Spirit Guide, I'm just losing next turn, I believe. No, I'm not, because then I can daze Therapy. Wait a minute. If my opponent has the Spirit Guide, they will start going off, get their Narcomoebas. And then they will name... Maybe I can get them to name Negation. I'm trying to find out if I should let this resolve because my plan is to brazen it back. And then I kind of have the dazes for later. Because what does it help if I daze it now and they have the Spirit Guide, they pay, they then get a 2-3 into play. Then I guess I get to ponder for stuff. This is super tough. So if I daze here and it works, am I happy? I guess, yes. Then I can play land, play ponder. If they pay, turn 1, that card. One more mana. They could easily have that card. Ugh. Magic's hard. Let's assume they have that card. Do I want them to pay for days, or do I want them to go for it now? Pay for days. It's probably the one I should be going for. So
Put those back. Daze that card. If the opponent develops it, it is what it is. And if they can't pay here, I can't see how I lose this game. I think it's pretty clear they should pay here if they have it, and they in fact have it. So let me consult the deck list once more. They're going to hit 4 Narcomoebas. Then they're going to hit... Let's see if it's 2 Cabal Therapy. It probably is. If it's only 1, I think I'm winning. And I could only see 1 from the screenshot. Now, is that trustworthy? I don't remember how many cards the opponent had in hand at that point. Oh well. Undercity Informer is in play. All I can do is try and turtle up here. They know about Consign, which is what I am... I don't know if I should say I'm excited, but I am, you know, pretty confident they're going to name that card. And then, if they only have 1... Also, my opponent's deck is just folding to Surgical on that card. My opponent has no Poxwalkers in the deck. So Surgical is just 0 mana, win the game against their combo. I guess it's time to fan out these clowns. Alright, let's see. Cabal Therapy. I might be missing the second copy. Let's see about that. Is there even a shuffler? There's no shuffler. I don't know. Let's see how this plays out. That's the beauty. That's actually what a lot of people find frustrating about Oops. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, if I'll do what I can do, and then it is what it is. But yeah, this version loses straight up to getting Surgical here. I don't like that. Well, Therapy is a card that resolves. Consign a memory. Yes. They see the days. Did I miss a second Therapy in the yard? I did not. So let's see. What happens if I... Ooh. I could have won this game in different ways here. When my opponent dredges over 4 Narcomoebas, if I consign one of them, they only have 3 creatures. That means not 3 creatures for Dread Return plus 1 for Therapy. And then they go for it and get blown out by the days. Because of the way they built their deck. No bridge. Yeah, no bridge, I guess, is primarily the one. And then the fact that they drew Informer instead of Spy. But they needed that. Otherwise, Consign just cooks them. Yeah, weird game. Lots of puzzle solving. Oops All Spells is a deck I enjoy playing against, but maybe on content it's a little bit messy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. Let's continue the climb. All right. Round 4. Currently still alive in the challenge. I don't love this hand. I've had a lot of funny hands today where I can't mulligan, but I also know it's hanging on by a thread. I don't even know what I'm rooting for here between Ocelot Pride and Guide. The problem is, if I don't Thoughtseize, my opponent can kind of keep trucking. Or maybe they can even do that anyway. So what is the move here? I feel like I've lost the wrong die rolls in this tournament. Because if I play first, I go turn 1, Ponder, turn 2, most likely have my land available. Bowmaster this clown. I have some 3/4s to play, but now it's just
super bad. I will cast a Ponder. Hopefully get my mana under me. Yeah, that qualifies. So now I'm actively rooting for my opponent to play a 2-drop I can force so that I can Bowmaster the Pride and kind of move on from there. My opponent's playing well here, just straight to combat, no nonsense, so that if I have a Snuff Out, I have to fire it now. That's a good habit to have when Snuff Out is a non-zero factor in the metagame. Land Staff. So you can argue that having the staff in play is acceptable because of Bowmaster. Okay, we can try that. Then I Bowmaster the Pride. And then let's see how this works out for me, because that is super scary. That now I have to protect the queen. Let's see what that queen is. Could be a raptor. Okay, the opponent doesn't want to get dazed. I get it. Bombardment. I actually forgot about that a little bit. I know my next card, but I forgot what it is. That's not good. I pondered into Force of Will Land. I think it's Wasteland. That's my next card. My next card is Wasteland. I just feel like this Murktide is how I win the game at some point. So let's force the bombardment now. I must admit I didn't think about that card. So now if my opponent just plows me, this kind of sucks. Okay. I'm going to take one in the air. And then let's see if my opponent's willing to get dazed. They are willing to get dazed. And now the staff is free, which kind of sucks for me. So I guess let's Thoughtseize our opponent. I could also just play 2 3/4s out. But I think it's better to have a look here. Okay, I'm happy about that decision. Now Wasteland looks a little bit bad, but okay, let's attack. I feel like I should play Nethergoyf, Wasteland, my opponent's red source that can also cantrip later. So Wasteland is unexciting here, but I need to kind of shrink the game a little bit here. Here's the staff. Here's the tap land. And then I'm hoping here's my breathing room, so that I can attack with my guys, get Murktide to be a more or less 2-turn clock. Sewers. So maybe I should Sewers first to see if I can grow the Nethergoyf. If I have something like Kaito or Bobble, I would love that. Let's see what I flip. So if my opponent is going to plow anyway, they can get me to save 1 less life by plowing now. I don't know if I would like that. I actually want to get in for the damage to make Murktide a faster clock. But this gives my opponent a timing. Land is irrelevant. So now I'm going to attack with both. That is going to smell a little bit, but okay. The opponent's actually interested in trading off now. They don't care about second Bowmaster. Okay. And now let's cast Murktide Regent with just a land left in the graveyard. So that means I have a 1/2 Nethergoyf. Not exactly perfect. Let's see if my opponent slow rolled the plow like a champ. They didn't. Okay. That would have been pretty cool. Draw a card. Yes. So basically, we're hoping for our opponent to draw a bunch of ground stuff. They can draw the Hexing Squelchers of the world. They can draw the, I guess, Voice of Victories of the world. Maybe even that card is too slow. Let's see about it. Okay, they did have a land there. So I guess my opponent should... Ooh, Bowmaster. That's a cool one to have. I feel like this is a kill the spirit moment because I don't want my opponent to gain 6. So let's go... When I say gain 6, I mean Chumblock the Murktide. This card also makes the staff worse, which is cool. I don't think I'm supposed to attack here. My opponent will flip the Ajani. So let's just get in for 6 in the air. This game is about fading Swords to Plowshares in a reasonable time frame. They don't fetch. They know it could come down to life points here. Now they have to fetch. I wonder what that is. Raptor, I guess. Here's Amped Raptor. Don't plow me, bro. Hexing Squelcher. That card is very beatable, as we already talked about. Now the opponent has 4 blockers. Okay, never mind. Here's number 5. Voice of Victory. So now they can't draw cards. They can't attack because they need 4 blockers. Bowmaster is lethal. That is not a Bowmaster. So all I can do is attack them down to 1 and cross my fingers. Let's see, which flyers do they have in the deck? They have a flyer from another staff. But I think that's about it. I'm gonna hang on to this land. 1 life, opponent. Swords to Plowshares are bust, more or less. Did they get there? Cannot draw because of Bowmasters. Plow or Prison, I guess. Static Prison I forgot about. And now is Ajani lethal? 5. I think it's only 5 creatures. Let's see. Let us see, opponent. Let us see. I don't have any moves, so we can just sit back. Kind of what I talked about in the Oops game. I mean, sure, I'm powerless, but that's also what makes it simple, right? I just have to see it play out. Did my opponent draw the card they needed? Well, congratulations. Did the opponent brick? Well, I'm up a game. The opponent's thinking about how to play with their Legend Ajani, so let's think. Johnny, sack 1 of them. Then the opponent can shoot for 5, which is 1 short. Never mind. Sand Scout. Sand Scout doesn't do anything, right? Yep. Here's what. Can only do this as a sorcery. Wait a minute. So now what? Now the opponent can deal... Wait a minute, wait. Sacrifice a creature at 1 mana. Yeah, I'm not sure. The opponent's 1 creature. Wait a minute. Can they sack a land some way? Is there a way to get rid of a land? That's kind of what the opponent needs, to get 1 more creature to then kill the Merc. That's the perfect. Wow. Okay. Now, is there a way for me to clear these monsters off the board? So what happens if I go 1, 1, 1, 1? Then the opponent's down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to do this. I have to block out the voice, and then my opponent has 1 draw off the staff to get there. I have to block like this. Wait a minute. What happens if I... No. What happens if I just block like this? Then my opponent has the same amount of creatures. I think I nailed it here. Yes. Because leaving them with the voice is the same here, and now I keep my hate bear. So the opponent basically, unless I'm missing anything, they gave me a chance to mess up here. Because now they can't draw, then they die to the Bowmasters. And if they make a token, they only have 5. So I think what they have to do now is kill the Bowmasters with a Johnny, then draw off staff, and it has to be Source of Plowshares directly on top of the deck. Yeah, okay. Super complicated. But well played by the opponent. They first gave me the chance to mess up, then they gave themselves a chance to get lucky. Yeah, that's high-level Magic. Sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. Well played. Okay, up a game versus energy. Can't complain about that. Brazen, not the best. I don't like my counters here. I like to play 1-for-1 Magic against this deck. Sand Scout is in the mix. Sand Scout is a card that makes their deck worse against Sweeper, which is pretty cool. Maybe 4 Bowmasters is fine because they play Raptor, they play Pride, and they play the annoying staff. Maybe it's okay to not have the Brazens in there. All right, we somehow got out of that one by forcing a bombardment. No? Was that it? Yeah, forcing a bombardment, thought seizing the other, and then clawing back and getting there with Murktide barely. Super tight margins. Signed to Memory versus the 4 Thoughtseize. Nah, I think this is good. So on the draw, Bowmaster's a little bit questionable because of the timing of the card. Yeah, this is just a hand we have to keep, and then we have to kind of remind ourselves that we have 2 Toxic Deluges inside our deck that can catch us up later. So it's a little bit of a leap of faith, but that's just how it goes. That's why it's a tough matchup, right? Because you're going to have 4 spells, 3 lands hands where you're still holding your breath. Energy is super dangerous. Let's see how the opponent wants to start the game. Let's see how I want to start the game, because you could argue... Let's see, holding up Hydra, what does that even do? That's good against Raptor, but they won't play that on an empty board. So that's good to think about. Turn 1 Guide. Okay. Does that change anything? Because now I could play Nethergoyf. No, I should chill. I'm going to chill here. Kaito, I'm not going to keep that card. Kaito is probably one of the worst cards that I'm submitting post-sideboard, because Kaito, I need to be the attacker for Kaito to be good. So that means I'm basically hoping for a game where I'm in a great position. So maybe I should think about that in my sideboard plan. Maybe Brazen Borrower is just straight up better than Kaito, because that's kind of the card hanging on by a thread here. Okay, I'll think about that. The thing about Kaito is, yeah, this deck goes super wide. So Kaito is not even like, hey, yeah, stop your big monster very often. Where Brazen at least can like reset some guide stuff or what have you. It's not great either, don't get me wrong. All right. The opponent's playing very, very well here. Again, like if I have a snuff out, they make me make the decision now instead of knowing if they waste me, if they 2-drop me, whatever, right? Well played. They wasteland me. I actually don't care that much about that right now. And then I draw a Cameo, which I am not supposed to play because of Caracas. I'm really thinking about going for my opponent's mana. A lone guide doesn't do anything. Okay, I'm going to try and get lucky here. Partially because of how this game played out, and partially, like, on the opponent's side, partially because I just drew the Cameo. Let's see if I indeed smelled weakness. The more the opponent waits here, the more I'm thinking they have more than one option in the lands department. Well played. So they're kind of playing the Eldrazi game here of exposing their worst land to the next wasteland in case I have it. That's just a good play. That's just a straight up good play. I think this is basic island Cameo time. We're still weak to the same 2-drops, but we postponed the game in a way that makes Toxic Deluge. I mean, it hasn't gone further into my deck, right? It's getting closer. So by trading Wastelands, the opponent's attacking with a super small creature. It's effectively like we're still on turn 2, right? Even though this is turn 4. Ooh. My opponent has no more colored mana, it looks like. Let's see what this attack is about. Let's see what it's about, buddy. Oh, the opponent's passing here. That might be the breathing room we need to take over this game. I can go Brainstorm Nethergoyf this turn. So the opponent can sack for mana at any time. That's fine. I feel like I should try and flip this while we're sitting here. Kaito continues to be my worst card by a mile. Now, is Bobble better than any of these other cards? I don't think so. I think Bobble is just the worst card, so I'm go flip plus basic swamp. Yeah, let's go basic swamp Nethergoyf, because sure, I could hold up Hydro, but if my opponent wants to sacrifice Guide to Pyroblast the Tameo, I think I'm okay. And if they draw land, that's fine. I think this is just a good bread and butter play that is good no matter what, and it's extra good. Oh, wow. That is not good for the opponent. So they're going to do what? Raptor? Yeah. Okay. So here's the blowout situation I talked about, but let's be honest, I'm totally fine here. Nethergoyf gets plowed. That's annoying, but that's how it goes sometimes. I draw a Barrogoyf. Jesus. I think this is one of those commanding spots where I should assume my opponent has mana rather than the opposite. Which is saying if my opponent doesn't have a play, I feel like I'm winning this game so often. So I should just assume my opponent draws Plateau or whatever, right? So let me go Land Edict plus pass, holding up Hydro, holding up Push, ready to slam the Barrogoyf. Because every time my opponent plows a creature, the Tameo gets closer to finishing the game. Yeah, this time it was my opponent to just draw colorless mana. I mean, what are you gonna do? That just sucks. The opponent has to make, play Guide, wasteland me, I wasteland back. They have to trust their deck, right? All right, that was a great game 1, I think, but game 2, not the best. But I guess we take it en route to the top 8. Next up, winning in. All right, guys, it's time for the winning in here in the small legacy challenge. It's been a little bit of a bumpy road, I must say. It's been a run full of me bricking in some games, my opponent bricking in some games, and a few good ones to think back on, but not that many, unfortunately. I would be really, really excited about a well fought battle here from start to finish where there isn't these anticlimactic moments of brainstorming into chaff or the opponent doing nothing or what have you. So, but hey, we can't. We don't have the power over that. I mean, we can put, you know, a reasonable amount of lands and cantrips in our deck, low mana curve, and then hope things work out. But other than that, not much to do about it. Let's see who in the 3-1 bracket will be paired against. Lots of top players here, which is cool to see. This is just a clean win and in. If I lose, I'm top 16. If I win, we're off to the top 8. Let's see. Oh, baby. We are playing against one of my favorite players. Discovering a vintage and popper maestro. This guy is always a treat to play against. He plays Magic at a very, very, very high level. And what would he play today? Is it or Dimir? I would guess some kind of mirror match. It's pretty realistic. All right, let's keep this hand. I'm gonna go turn 1 Nethergorth. And send the turn. Yeah, Discovering used to play a lot of Izzet decks back in the day. Let's see if that's still the case. If I get bolted here, do I daze my opponent? I could see that. Daze, come over the top of the wasteland. Maybe Discovering wants to wasteland me. That would be awesome. They're not going to do that. Okay. I draw Fatal Push, which is not bad. Maybe this is where I attack for 0 and pass the turn. So I could fetch Surveil first, but then my push can get dazed end of turn. Yeah, let's just play like this. Also, Discovering should be scared of Kaito, so he's going to do something here. Taking the turn. What does that mean? Are you on a Stifle deck, buddy? This is pretty cool. Let us see if there's a Stifle in my future. There's no Stifle, but I am getting wasted. Is this where I just go basics? Okay. I feel like my opponent will wasteland me here. No, they're just gonna let me Kaito. I don't have the Kaito. So what about if I go Brainstorm, the opponent flashes Bowmaster, I daze it, then if my opponent powers it through, I can push it. So I lose to Bowmaster's Force Daze. I think that's okay. Let's see if I'm gonna regret it. I'm not gonna regret it. Okay. Let's put away Force of Will. I feel like that card is just a liability, period. Also, I guess I'm drawing it later, so there's that. What here? It looks like the Brazen is not going to be relevant here. So let's put back those 2 cards. Let's play land. Let's play Thoughtseize. Let's see what good old Discover is up to. I assume a mirror match where he can go slightly bigger. Ooh, he is on that deck. That's sweet. That's super sweet. So now Discovering is going to end step the dog. That I'm going to let resolve. And then what? Okay, this is cool. Discovering did a very good job concealing his deck. My top card is a bounce spell. Funnily enough, Force of Will is annoying right now. What happens if I take the What happens if I take the Teferi here? If I take Teferi or Riddler, I guess. Yeah, maybe Riddler. What happens if I take this card? Then the opponent can dog end of turn. I'll daze it. Okay, let's take the Quantum Riddler. Now let's try and go to combat. Let's see if the opponent's interested in getting dazed. They're not interested in getting dazed. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, Discoverance on the blue-white deck. I mean, I love that deck. I'm not interested in playing Teferi in the deck, but I love it. I would probably play Murktide in that slot. My top card is... Okay, that's fine. Let's see, my top card is Brazen, and then I have Force of Will underneath. So that means nothing is resolving here unless I want it to, essentially. Undraw the play. I know about Discoverance Hand aside from one card. That card is not something I'm going to worry about. Oh, wow, the opponent is really going to play for the long game here. Yes, resolve. So Plow gone. So now if I wasteland the Tundra, I keep making my Daze a good card for the time being. It seems like with the way the opponent's playing that they're kind of relegating the Teferi to force pitch. Cameo's a good one here. It was a very good one. Resolves. That card gone. Let cast Fatal Push. The opponent lets it resolve, so very patient here. Maybe this is where I brainstorm, because if I find a blue source, I can start slamming stuff. I guess this will have to do. So if I wasteland, so maybe I could put back the Brazen, put back the Force, untap. Can my opponent have Stifle as the last card? Yes, but let's try and kill our opponent's land, then play a 3/4. Pass. Opponent's hand is still those three. I have a blue card on top of my deck. That means... Ooh, okay. This is fine. So hopefully this means I get to daze something and force something. Discover and shuffles the library. I'm not sure I like the land drop they played here. If that ponder gets dazed, I think it's a little bit whatever. All right, so right now, I don't know what I'm dreaming of. Am I dreaming of... I guess I'm dreaming of Discover and bricking. Ooh, second island. That sucks with that hand. I'm in a spot where land is a good draw for me as well. That is also a good draw, no doubt about it. So I don't have a creature in my graveyard. I think this is a good time to cast the Bowmaster, because if that gets forced, it grows the Nethergoyf. Okay, Discover and keeps letting stuff resolve. Why are we not forcing with Teferi? Yeah, I don't like how Discover and played here. Very passive. Thoughtseize. I guess we should slam that card. And now, because I want my I just want 2 attack steps here, right? The opponent can only draw 1 relevant card, so I take the Force of Will. Attack for 5. Let's see. Gone. Like this. I don't think there's a card the opponent can draw here. Okay, we got over the finish line game 1. I'm happy I picked up early about, maybe this is a Stifle deck, but that's of course in the minutia of things. Discover also showed they're certainly not interested in getting dazed, which is scary. Looks like Brazen is kind of bad against him, but I might need it. Maybe I board like this. Blue white. I need for the removal. Sometimes the game is shrunk a lot, so days can be relevant. I'm not sure I have a worse card than days here. On the draw, I think Baragoi is slightly better. Then maybe on the play, I can consider it. Brazen. Really not exciting. Maybe I'm supposed to play like this. Yeah, it's a tough matchup. I would love to draw the first removal spell every time against that deck. Because if I don't have a push or a snuff out, things get complicated with Tameo and Dog out of the gate. This hand is great, but Discovering is a dirty Stifle player. Fatal Push is a good draw. Let's play the Tameo out. Is this a Daze? I guess that's decent for me. Could be Desperado Brainstorm. Okay, getting dazed here is fine. Let's change the phase. Let's crack this bobble right away, I think. Yeah, that's probably fine. Stifle, great to know about. Super annoying card. So the good part about this is Daze is live for the time being. So I should be acting on my opponent's upkeep here, I feel like. Let's pass. Let's crack a fetch here. Let's Daze the Stifle. Float, return. So now Discovering would have to invest Force of Will. So this could be a good time to brainstorm, I think. If I get dazed here, then what? I think it's good. Discovering has second daze. He's the champ. Is this card good? Is my second daze good? So I like all of these if I just go basic swamp. Maybe this game is not about this Underground Sea and this daze. Maybe it's about basics, about trying to wasteland. Maybe one daze, one wasteland is the better combo. Okay, I've talked myself into that, I think. Put those 2 back. Get the swamp out of there. Let Discover and play. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. Lots of intricacies between oh. There's the plains. So Discover and sitting on good mana here. Let's thought seize our opponent, see if we can find a good day situation. Purge, and here's the Stifle, which was my read turn 1, and then I saw the second, so that makes sense. Another Wasteland, which is a dead card. So Discovering is in a similar spot to me here, I would say. Maybe this Purge is just gonna kill like Kaito, Baragoyf, Nethergoyf, whatever later, and we should take it because of that. Bowmasters even. Yeah, this removal spell is always gonna do something in a longer game. Urge gone. And the opponent's down to these cards. Knowing about Daze and Stifle is huge for my ability to play around it. I have a million removal spells, so the way they kind of get me is Riddler. Everything else I have covered. I would love to draw stuff like Bowmasters, stuff like Tameo. Low investment stuff that requires an answer. Let's see what good old Discover and finds on the Braincestor Recall. Wasteland we knew about. Secretly rooting for Ophelia. Orcish Bowmasters, that's awesome. That is simply awesome because I guess I should play it now. Yeah, let's play it now. If I get plowed, I guess I can get plowed end of turn if my opponent found it. I guess that is what it is. Let's see if they have the plow. They have the plow. Okay, so I gave my opponent a free mana there and by playing around, playing Brainstorm instead. I don't know about that. I now have established a 1/1. I still have tons of removal. 3 cards, 1 unknown. Yeah, that card is super annoying. So I think I should snuff it out here. Let's kill it in response. So now my opponent, I think... No, never mind. I think this just happens. Pretty good timing here with the snuff out. Because they have Stifle Daze in hand. So hard casting Daze will get them to draw 2 off the Riddler, which is a cool play. Discover and finds it, obviously, because he's a champ. Yes. Okay. Here comes the snuff out. Discover and draws 2 cards, and we are kind of level. I can now wasteland my opponent's wasteland. Should I do that? I think so, because my opponent's a Riddler. It's a fairy deck. Especially now, I guess. So, kill that. Am I slow rolling this land, or am I... Yeah, I might be playing it out, because hard cast Daze could be a thing. No Kaito here. That would have sent Discover and packing. I think with double island in the deck, I think Discover is not playing red, but could be wrong about that. Let's see. Bowmaster is a sweet draw because... wait a minute. The opponent kept the card on top. Do they have Dock here? Kept the card on top. I'm trying to think about my Bowmaster timing. If I Bowmaster now, I get in for slightly more damage. Which is not nothing. But then I'm weaker to the end step play. I'm actually just going to do this. If my opponent has the dog here, I think it's fine. They have 1 card that's Stifle. So if I Bowmaster now... Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, I have to pass. That's fair. No dog. So now I should cast Orcish Bowmasters, holding up the Wasteland, so that if my opponent has Daze, I can pay, and if they don't, I can keep them off mana here. If I get stifled here, I think it's whatever. I don't get stifled. That means my opponent has what? Wait a minute. This stifle is gone all the way back from the brainstorm, maybe? Okay. Murktide. No dog last turn, but could be a dog this turn. If my opponent has a dog, I will push it. So let's try and keep getting in there for damage. And then if it's fourth blue card, well, it is what it is. Okay, here it is. That's bad for me. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, that's good for me. Get in for 3. So far, so good. This stifle is probably gone with the way the last turn played out. Passing again. So in theory, this could be another dog. I don't think I can respect that. Don't think I can respect that. Let's see if it was another dog. It wasn't. That's huge. Because my opponent would have tried to kill it on combat, so that's why I can cast this Ponder now safely. Thoughtseize into Cameo, which is pretty good. Into Baragoyf, which is a dead card. This is a little bit brutal. What is in my opponent's hand? Daze, Force, Stifle, maybe? Those cards? I'm actually going to shuffle these. That's a tough one. Another Edict. I don't even know if that's good. I guess they're stuck with cantrips in hand. And this is where Discoverin decides that fooling around here is not going to cut it. Orc Army grows to 3. Discoverin gets pinged to 8. Now I have a 2-turn clock just on the board, right? With removal spell in a daze. Discoverin keeps the cards, so this is going to be a heavily contested game. I feel like the only thing Discoverin could have drawn here is a dock to flash in. Wasteland. I think Wasteland is a good card because it now beats Daze, so I should keep attacking here. Here's the dog. Here's my Force of Will question. No Force of Will, so Discoverin's down to 4. Am I wastelanding my opponent here? I think the answer to that question is yes, because stuff like if Fairy is in the mix here. And if I can turn on my Daze, I think that's better than... Yeah, now my opponent needs the Daze themselves, or this game is over. Okay, this game is over. We were able to shrink the deck that is, you know, the Stifle Wasteland deck. And we get over the finish line. That means we have top 8 coming up, which I'm looking forward to. And getting to beat one of my favorite players here is certainly a confidence boost. Let's see how we fare in the top 8. Thanks for watching so far. All right, guys, top 8 time. Unfortunately, my breakers are abysmal, and I'll be on the draw in the quarters here versus John. I think John, I played against him 2 weeks ago, I feel like, and that was a land situation where I got super cooked. Let's see if we can do better today. That would be pretty cool. Quarterfinals on the draw. Can't really complain about that. I don't feel like I've been running hot or anything. Actually, if anything, I would say the opposite. But here we are, so I'm never going to complain about this. Yeah. Great hand on the play, and hold our breath on the draw against a bunch of decks. If my opponent is indeed on lands, I'm in trouble. Okay. I guess I'm good with this. Basic Island, Tameo. So now, am I interested in getting dazed? I think I am, because then I can daze back. What's the argument for... The other argument is I go turn 1 push, turn 2... No, I actually need the mana to double Nethergoyf. Okay, well, multiple reasons, both against daze and if they don't have it. I like this play. So that resolves. I still have daze available. So next turn I can go double creature or brainstorm creature. This is fine. I get that my fetch, the opponent's fetch was a little bit weak. But I don't think I can worry about that in that spot. Okay, so I draw another land, which means I have Kaito up next turn. That is pretty good. So let me... Ooh, I actually misplayed here. If John is on the blue-white deck, I misplayed here. Yeah, this could be punishing. The John is not on the blue-white deck, or at the very least, didn't have a stifle. So I was supposed to fetch first, because then I could actually pay for daze if I was dazing a stifle. Yeah, okay, Magic's hard. Trying to learn every day. I'm trying to get to a spot where I can connect with Kaito here. I don't care about getting plowed. That card is fine. Annoying, sure, but... Ooh. John is on a Sultai deck. Could be a Beanstalk deck. That's cool. That is very cool. So now John could be holding... That draw was insane. Third mana before blocks. John is interested in blocking. I have land instant in the yard, so no funny business available. Let's see if this works like I want it to. Now I have daze and force blue card, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Let's activate. Okay, so I get to daze a Bowmaster and then keep fighting with the force. Or this is Leyline Binding. Let's daze that card. I will happily trade forces. My opponent's down to 1 card. Kaito resolves. Fatal Push for the Tameo is a good one. And my own Tameo, I guess these cards are fine. What if I do get Thought Seized? Then I think losing the Tameo would be better for me. Let's see if my opponent's last card is a Leyline Binding. Because, you know, that could be. I like my position. 4-color Beanstalk. That's a dangerous deck as well. Quantum Riddler. The opponent draws 2 cards. Flipping the Tameo. Making my Fatal Push dead. Allow on that guy to kind of preserve. That's cool. Okay, I have lots of good plays here. I should probably... Let's think about... I don't know anything about the top of my deck. If my opponent has exactly force blue card, I guess I should play like this. Play Tameo. Resolves. Okay, never mind. Play Nethergoyf. Waste the white. Plussing here. Attacking Tameo down to 1. Because this way the Nethergoyf is also quote-unquote lethal onto the Tameo next turn. Let's see if the opponent has a good follow-up here. White mana. Okay. White mana pass. I think it's okay to attack my Tameo with Nethergoyf. And then my opponent with the Kaito. No, never mind. What am I doing here? Because my opponent just plussed. Okay, never mind. Attack there. And then what about this clown? Can I attack my opponent with it? What if my opponent then has Bowmaster? Ping me. Drum block. I think that's okay. Let's try this out. Here's failure, which resolves, and then I push it. And I think I got my opponent here. Cameo dead. My opponent takes damage. Activate. Bowmaster is a good one here. I feel like I should just jam it right away. Orcish Bowmasters. You're up, buddy. Very commanding position here. Quantum Riddler drawing 2 cards, pinging my opponent twice, and we're going to sideboarding. Okay, 4-color beans, super scary deck. With failure, though, so every card is live against my opponent, so to speak. I don't want my dazes. I can say that. Cards I'm considering include Inside a Memory because of Leyline Binding. I guess it has tiny more utility because of the dog blinking like Riddler. Brazen Borrower, not good. What if I just add these cards? Snuff Out good? Yeah, Snuff Out is good because Tameo and Failure. Bouncing Riddlers and stuff is not good. Until I see Murktide Region, I'm not going to worry about that. Consign. I could have like 1 Barragoyf instead of a Consign. I don't think that would be terrible. 1 Barragoyf instead of a Consign. We can do that. It's close. We're down to the details when we're considering stuff like that. Could also have another one instead of a Bauble. I feel like the size on Nethergoyf is a little less important in this matchup. Also, my opponent is not going for my mana, so the free cycle to minimize variance is less important as well. All right, up a game against Beanstalk. My hand has Tameo removal. My hand has, let's call it Beans removal. This is just a solid hand. Turn 1 Ponder is what I want to see. I actually think I should quote-unquote restart the game here with Wasteland, depending on what happens, but I'm leaning towards that because there's a chance my opponent has a tough time playing the game. And if they just continue to play the game, we are in the same position where I can now, you know, push the Tameo, Thoughtseize the Beanstalk. The variables here are, if my opponent hit Beanstalk exactly on top of the deck, I would not have seen it with Thoughtseize, so that's good. And then there's some stuff like my opponent holding up Veil and what have you. Holding up Brainstorm. So now I have to kill this card. And, well, that's my philosophy anyway. So if my opponent has the fetch and the Beanstalk here, they got us. Okay. They're on a little bit of a weak mana base. We take those whenever we can. Shuffle, draw the planes. That's a fun one. I think I should cast Thoughtseize first to learn about what's going on. There's the Up the Beanstalk. I feel like I should take that card. Because if my opponent is sitting on this mana base forever, I like my spot. Take the beans, play Nethergoyf. I think is going to be my play. If Nethergoyf gets plowed, it is what it is. So my opponent's sitting on blue-white, but they have green cards in the deck and black cards in hand. Okay, that gets killed, sure. Pass. So this is exactly the spot I was hoping for, where, ooh, wait a minute. My opponent has Bowmasters in hand, so I think this is a spot to play Tameo and kind of quote-unquote force my opponent to force a will this or force a will brainstorm. I kind of like that. Let's play this out in case I brainstorm into a Thoughtseize. The opponent brainstorms in response to learn more, so that's a good play because if they find, let's say, Leyline Binding in a land, they don't have to force this brainstorm. If they're cooked to a flip Tameo, they should force here. Overall, it looks like this is going to be a good exchange for me. Okay. Well, I like most of my cards here, so maybe the move is... Do I want to keep... Yeah, let's keep the Edict around. I really want to use my mana, so I guess I just put back those two. Flip. Here's Murktide Regent. I mean, I like these cards, so I should just play like this. Play it out. Power through this before my opponent finds... You know, puts black mana into play. I assume this Tameo is dead with the way this game is going. Oh, it's not. Okay. So which card do I want to play here? Murktide or Baragoyf? Probably Baragoyf. I should plus here. And then I should see if I can get the Force Blue card out of my opponent. Force of Will, pitch Quantum Riddler is a deal. Here comes either... Yeah, here comes Bowmasters. Okay. Orcish Bowmasters pinging the Tameo. And then I'm kind of playing for a scenario where my Edict can get me home. Three mana, so Leyline Binding actually kills the Tameo. Okay, here it is. Yep, that's annoying. The opponent now has Bowmasters with one card in hand versus Murktide. Let's play Murktide Regent as a 7/7. Now, this card dies to everything from Plow to Binding. Can't really do much about that. The opponent's at 17. No attack. Force of Will here is incredible. Simply incredible. Now, is there a way for me to find the next Murktide and play it here? I don't think so. Attack for 7. Fight over the dog if necessary. I think how I'm supposed to play here is Edict my opponent, cast Ponder, just to be mana efficient. They have dog here. I'm not going to play it because that card is better than Bowmasters at this point. I think this is fine. I think my Force of Will is supposed to take care of Murktide answers. So if I force something and then force something, the game is over. I guess let's try that. Put that up on top, that on top, that on top. This way I'm playing around getting Thoughtseized. All right, we're really holding our opponent in a strangle here. And it's time. Quantum Riddler is a draw 2. I think if I force this and force my opponent's next play, they don't have a chance. Let's see if I'm right about that. Here's the attack. Here's the attack. Pass. And now it's time for the opponent. I will Force of Will everything from a Tameo to a Plow to a Binding Now, how do they come up with two things? I guess they don't. All right. We get the job done here against Beanstalk by attacking their mana and getting it over with. So, yeah, we continue the run in the semis. All right, semifinals time. It's always cool to have a deep run and then on camera. What's not to like? Ocean Soul is a known Dimir tempo player, and this hand is actually a one-lander that has a surprising big amount of game here. So let's keep it and hope to draw land in the near future. Milling over Fatal Push is a super weak play. I think my opponent's kind of low on land. They can, of course, have one more, but milling over a push against a matchup like this. Oh, wow, no more lands. That is cool to see. So funnily enough, I think I should take... Oh, okay. Maybe I should take my opponent's Daze here. Maybe good old Daze is the card to take. Then my opponent will play Tamiyo, or I guess Ponder, try and play a Tamiyo. Then I'm going to try and kill it. If I get forced there, I think it's fine. Could also let my opponent keep the Daze because my play is going to be snuff out. And then hopefully I've found another land before. Okay. So if I take this Tamiyo and snuff out this Tamiyo, trade forces if necessary. Okay. I guess that's going to be my play. So this is a situation where I could have taken my opponent's Ponder, but I think the game is going to go on for a while, and my opponent will just naturally draw out of that in a lot of games. Let's see if that's true. Here's Ponder. If I take that card, my opponent slams Tamiyo. Yeah, I could have done that as well. They will shuffle everything that does not include a land here. So they found a land. Okay. That works. Can ya boy find a land? He can. That's super cool for me. Is this where I just go and accept my Tamiyo's fate? Maybe that's it. So kill the Tamiyo. My opponent is trying to cash in the Daze here. So now I can do two things. I think I'm gonna Fatal Push it. Hold up this card. So now I could just play that card and have it pushed. Yeah, I think maybe that's okay. The game really is shrunk here a lot. My opponent's last card could be Daze. I mean, that's playable. The last card was not Daze. Land, Fatal Push, and one more card. If I force to keep this in play, I don't think that's the move. I think the move is that I draw land before the dust settles, and then I kind of play Murktide Magic. Well, that is the land before the dust settles, or after the dust settles, rather. 1, 2, 3. I don't think I should get dazed here. I only have one Murktide Regent left in my deck. I'm okay with this one. Murktide Regent. Now my Force of Will is targeting Kaito, Murktide, Aragoyf, Beat the Cycle, that type of stuff. Let's get in for 6 here. The opponent has no known cards in hand. Let's play this Tamiyo. Pass. Holding on to Force Blue card. Yep, you got it. This is all smoke screen. The Murktide is the big boy here. 13 is not 12, but I do play an Orcish Bowmaster deck. So let's say the opponent stabilizes at 1. I mean, then it's still good, right? The opponent would have bounced here if they had it. So they could have the Bowmaster end of turn, which I would have to give a think because it turns on Kaito. Brainstorm. Yep, that's okay. If the opponent can find like Thoughtseize plus an answer, sure, that's annoying. They want to shuffle the deck. Here's where I could have pounced, but I think it's okay to let my opponent shuffle here. Land into another Brainstorm. This could be where I Brainstorm, because if I hit a Bowmaster, the game's over. I think that's a good timing. Oof, this sucks. Okay, let's get rid of those two. That resolves. So now I'm open for business, so to speak. What's the best the opponent can do here? It's like a blocker and pass, I guess. No blocker. If I find Murktide Regent, the game is over. My last resort is like hold up Hardcast Force at Will. Oh, wow. The opponent's a Stifle deck. Did I stack these correctly? I might lose now because... Oh, Stifle. Okay. So now if my opponent has a removal spell, I'm stuck. Because I was also not considering that card, and so if I was, I would alternate the order of okay, the opponent goes for info. So I don't get punished here. If I think about this card, I'll put Sewers on top. So I play this to then clear the next one. So that my next draw was a freshie instead of a bad card. And then, I'm getting closer to the Bowmasters. Yeah, I got lucky there. My opponent got me very good with that Stifle. Sometimes you need to dodge bullets, even though just playing better is to be preferred. Pretty clear sideboard plan here, I think. Forces are bad. Daze is serviceable. And, Murktide removal, Baragoyf's removal for anything here is solid. Okay, Stifles. That is a dirty boy who's registering Stifles in blue-black. Ooh, yeah, let's do this and hope we get into the game with our mana base. Mr. Stifle passing here. Let's just Thoughtseize. The opponent brainstorms. It is what it is. There's an argument for pouncing with Daze here to protect my mana. Okay, let's try that. Protect my mana, fire the Thoughtseize, and prevent my opponent from digging. Like, maybe this is awesome. Orcish Bowmasters is that good against my draw? So what about the Stifle? What happens if I wasteland my opponent's mana and then try and play the game from there? I'm making it very easy. So let's just play this out. What is my next play? I feel like I need to get stable mana. So maybe if my opponent goes land, slam Bowmasters, what will I do? I will then kill my opponent's land. Hope they don't play the game for a while. Yeah, this is complicated stuff. Because if my opponent just draws random lands, my plan looks foolish. Okay, my opponent smells blood in the water. Shuffle. Wasteland pass. Now I waste them out of colored mana. So good read by the opponent. Very well read. And let's see. The opponent has to pass here. That sucks for the opponent. And I draw land. That's insane for me. Should I hang on to the shuffle? I think I should get it out of the way because of Stifle. Let's go Underground Sea, Tameo, and then hope that I'm in a spot where my opponent, you know, they have to cross their fingers and kill my land. Here's Wasteland. That's funny. So my land is gone, but I have a Tameo in play that I'm flipping now. And I draw another land like a boss. That's crazy. I could flip it with Basic Island. I feel like that's the move. Let's flip it with Basic Island. Brainstorm. Flip the Tameo. What am I hiding from Thoughtseize here? I could see Bowmaster being hidden. Maybe something like Bowmaster Baragoyf. Could also hide removal spells. My opponent edicts this away. I'm looking for a game where I finish off my opponent. Yeah, maybe the Baragoyf is just the worst card here easily. So maybe like this. Because I'm not getting to 3 mana unless my opponent lets me, right? Also, the opponent can just draw mana, and then we're playing the game. Okay, the opponent didn't want to play here. And, yeah, I guess we're heading to the finals. I don't enjoy these games, I must say. I want cool games like the first one. But I guess it's been a little bit of a theme in this tournament run with some non-games. All right, let's see if we meet for the finals, or I will facilitate a split. I'll let you know. All right, guys, my opponent accepted the prize split in the finals, gave me the win because I had the best seed going into the top 8. I guess that was a pretty sweet run. Dimir Tempo reigned supreme, and I was happy to get it all on camera. I'll try and do my best to capture more cool tournament runs in the future. It's always a little bit hard because sometimes I'm doing stuff on the side or I really want to focus, etc., etc. But this at least motivates me to do it even more. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to 4 Seasons for sponsoring my journey over here, and I hope to see you back soon for some more sweet, sweet Legacy action.